Hello everyone, welcome to your version of this week's practice fuel. So we're going to switch it up a little bit, and for today we're going to talk raw, we're going to talk real. So what I want to share with you about today is actually on cutting cord, cutting ties. Is there a good way? Is it a good time of doing it? Don't we experience that once or sometime in our lives, especially if you're a business owner, especially if you own something in your life, whether you're a leader in your community, or maybe you're a dad in your own home. You are in some form of leadership or in just any kind of relationships. Cutting the cord, cutting the ties is a big part of life. And when I say cutting ties, it's not about something negative. We gotta look at it from the perspective of, is this gonna work for me, or is this working any longer or not working any longer for my life? We've always emphasized about taking care of yourself first, right? Like you are really the first love of your own life is you and your human body, you and your spirit and your soul, you in your own physicality, your biological makeup. That is what you really, each one of us can take on to do better. So that is you. You are the first love of your life. And then we can talk about everybody else. So my name is Emmy with Champion Dentist. And this subject is actually very, very close to me because as I run my business, as being the leader of my company, the more I come into circumstances and instances where, I need to let go of things. I need to let go of even some people, of my team members, of people that I love. So how do you make that happen? Well, the thing is that there are a few key elements, a few principles that we all want to really consider before we do the do. All right? In everything we do as leaders, there is a demand for insights. There's a demand of us to ourselves to be able to think deep and bring ourselves deep and really consider things first before acting on them a lot of times. When we are talking about cutting ties and cutting cords, completing a relationship, we need to be able to respect the process. And respecting the process means that we need to have a grip of the clarity of the situation. And so what do I mean by getting a grip of it? It's being very mindful and aware and really giving it due diligence in your thinking. The question to always ask, and is always a good place to start with and from, is the question, is this still serving me for the best of everyone? Is this working for me and for the service and the best of everyone? Or is the time the right time to do this? And you consider that. Don't take too long to think. Follow your gut. Follow your experiences of what had been the circumstances leading to this time. All right? So that means to say, be very thoughtful on it. Be very, approach it objectively. This is where emotions cannot sway into what works and what serves the best for everyone. Put aside the emotions. You can feel what you feel. If you can say, I don't feel right about this, but you cannot say, I am frustrated, or no, don't do that. Keep emotions away and just really approach it objectively. So if you say that this is not working for me any longer, then you start thinking, in what ways has it not been working any longer? One, could it be the skill set of a team member and the willingness for them to take on new things are not present anymore? Any business is dynamic. You want dynamics. It's energy. Change is really, can be a really great thing. Without change, there's no transformation. Without change, there's no discovery of something outside your view. So if a team member or even a partner has gone past the point of not being willing to collaborate, to share ideas, to communicate, you'll be so surprised. There's so many leaders out there, even business owners, who are still just as uncomfortable with being in a robust communication. For some reason, talking, having conversations is really very stressful and awkward for a lot of people. It doesn't matter how successful the business is or not. There's always some form of resistance or, being uncomfortable with being authentic or being direct or being straightforward, and at the same time be practicing grace and compassion inside that realm. So the first thing you want to do is always know yourself first, okay? Know what you're great at and know what you're not good at. And things that you're not good at, seek help, seek communication, seek counsel, seek coaching. Because the one thing that is really like a constant in life is this, right? If you want a different world to be your world, then you have to take on new things that you have never done before, or new ways of being first that you never had been there before. Otherwise, you can just stay the way you are. The business stays small, but it might be all you want, and that's fine. Your team might be stagnant as well. They're not feeling any new juices coming on, and that's good also for some team members where they just want to cruise along. And yet you'll also have those team members who are actually always hungry for new things to learn, for them to grow, for them to learn new skill sets that they can also take home to their own families. Because who you are at work is really who you are in life. Anything you do is everything you do. So don't be fooled by these little, principles, because these are foundational traits and values that you want to be very keen and mindful on. All right. And if you do that, kudos to you. Your life will be always expansive. Your life will always take on new energy, new juice, new perspectives. And life is going to be beautiful. Trust me. All right. The thing about life is that you will always have things that comes on that will take you off track. That's just what living is all about. We were never promised a stress-free life. We were never promised a rose-filled life. We had been created to live this lifetime, to learn, and to experience living. So make it great. Okay? So when do you cut ties? So let's do this. With your team members, with people in your office, you cut ties when that person's attitude and mindset is no longer benefiting to the rest of the team. You only need one bad apple, and then, that energy is just totally very destructive. So you want to be really, have the courage to say, no, you're going to take on and part ways because it's no longer serving everyone. And trust me, a team member that is unhappy with everybody else is also unhappy with herself. There's a projection. All right. So that is one criteria where you say, this might be the time where, we seek other opportunities, and you've noticed this, and make it very gracious such that it comes across as you really care about your team member. You will always care, and make sure you care about them. if it's not making them happy any longer, because you cannot make people happy. They have to generate it themselves, right? And if you're not that person anymore, you gotta let them go, because freedom is letting people also be free. And you never know what comes along your way. Many times in my business, many times, I got so hurt by people I trusted that stopped seeing things my way, and they just go. And you know what? In hindsight, that was the best thing someone could do to me, because after that parting, that painful parting, came really great people that are actually being put in your space now to help you grow, to help you expand, and to help you be a different human being that you've ever been before. So trust the process. Trust your faith. Trust the process as long as you're doing your best. Okay? All right. So when do you say goodbye to a partner? A business partner is actually more strategic, because it's like a marriage. A business partner is someone that you really invite into your space, or they invited you to theirs, and really share a commonality of space and energy and mission and goals and dreams. So the time to really look at when the partnership is no longer serving you is really being very objective at where it's not actually in alignment anymore with your values. Your values and your partner's values might be changing over the course of time, and that's normal. So take a look. If the values are no longer in alignment with what you had agreed on, or on what you're willing to work with, then it's time for you both to really have a great conversation into planning what's next for both of you. And remember what I said, conversation. A partnership can slowly die when one of the partners are not communicating, are not being expressive, are not being gracious, not being kind. You will know it in your gut when that is coming on and in. All right? So always have the courage to face things raw and real. Now, when I say raw and real, doesn't mean to say you will be unkind. Never, ever do that. It might mean to say that you're not being nice. Fine. You don't want to be a Mr. Nice Guy 100% of the time, ever. You don't, because people hide behind a facade of niceness for their own insecurities, for their own shortcomings, for their own internal state. All right? But always one thing, be kind. Even when you're talking with a partner who you don't see as working any longer for you both, just be kind. Be honoring of their own feelings and their own future as well. Help them create things. And I promise you, relationships can stay on forever, but your partnership might not. And that's okay. All right? Because if you trust the process of divinity, God will always have something bigger for you. The universe will always have something bigger for you, because that is where you set your mind to focus on, and that is what you will manifest. Manifestation comes from being optimistic. All right, so let's go to the last who. When you're cutting ties with family members or friends, the same principle. When is the relationship and who they're being not serving you, your values, and what your being is? If someone is going to make you not be a better person, and their influence is actually causing you more distress, their presence is a little, you'll feel it, then it's time for you to really consider what the future will be with that person. Okay, remember, we don't choose families. We were born into a family that we really had no say over except for our spirit. And the thing is that this also doesn't give you the liberty of just cutting relationships. No, it gives you the privilege of really thinking and really giving it your due consideration and thoughtfulness and intention for both of you. You create your own life. So live it intentionally. Be clear with what kind of life you want. And if that person, family or friend, is taking you off another path that is not how you have integrity and a future on it, you gotta just be able to say, you know, I love you. And at the same time, I will not be staying in touch with you as much any longer. And I will always be here for you. I will love you forever. And that's the truth. Be able to say that in all honesty. Loving doesn't mean to say you tolerate everything that's not working for you. You love a human being because of their spirituality, their spiritual being, and because they're created in the image of God, and you honor everybody. You help them anytime. However, God always gave us the gift of intelligence for us to have discernment. So use discernment, use wisdom into creating a life that you want for yourself and having the right people to support you inside living in that space. Always would be with people who can promote you, expand you, who can make you better, and who can make you a much more empowering person who can make a difference for others. Okay? Meaning to say, take on your circle of community that can add more to your assets than being a liability. Everybody belongs in their own space. Trust me. You are not leaving them in a bad spot. They will somehow find their own way. And you can pray about that. At the same time, you're also praying for your own self and helping yourself to be the best that you can. All right? Never underestimate the power of prayers or the power of energy of your mind, of your whole being. You know, you are really your thoughts. What you focus on, energy flows. So be discerning of that as well, okay? I always tell everyone, be smart. Always be smart in making your decisions. We are given a brain and a heart, all right? Follow the heart and have your brain find ways on how to do it well and right, okay? Your brain can lie to you, trust me, because the brain gets all its information from your past experiences. And if you had a traumatic experience with someone, trust me, that trauma can also move on and get and stain your other people and friends. So just be very mindful of that, okay? So before we wrap this up, let's go back to the subject matter. How do you cut ties? How do you say goodbye and so long and still love people? Really very simple. One, always have grace. Always have grace when you're having a conversation. Two, always stay in communication. There's nothing ever like talking or having to see someone in the eyes or even just a FaceTime. It's much better than texting. Texting is not communication. Texting gets so skewed, and that has been a problem for people who are really looking to deepen a relationship. So don't rely on texting, but really have a conversation. Have courage to do that. Have love and compassion and grace, and always pray for love and blessings for the other person, okay? And if you keep this in mind, I promise you, you will have a team in your practice that is loyal, that is kind, that will share and bless every one of your patients, everyone, their families. Trust me in this, okay? You can never go wrong by being kind and gracious and loving. And also be very smart in making your choices. Okay, that being said, I invite you to take that on in every little thing you do. Give it your mind, give it your focus. Be always mindful, be aware of you and how you're coming across and how you're saying things. Always be mindful. Don't make this life be all about you. All right? And then you will have a very fulfilling and meaningful life. All right, so that's our practice fuel for today. I want to wish you everyone well. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. I'm here for you. My team is here for you. In every moment that you will need help, we'll do our best, and that is the promise. All right, So have a great year of the fire horse. It's our lunar new year yesterday. So make it great. A fire horse is the fastest horse in the different horses in our horoscope. Make it speedy, make it on fire, and make it good. Horses are great creatures, and this year is going to be amazing. Make it great, okay? It's all in you, in your power. All right, you hold the driver's seat. You are holding the steering wheel. What comes of your life comes from you and the choices you make. All right, love you all. Take care. Thank you for watching.